तर बरीच सारी पुस्तकं आहेत इथे. कुठली पुस्तकं आहेत? नावं अजिबात वाचता येत नाहीत. काय काय पडलंय? What? ओके. खरंच आहे काही म्हटलं होतं ते. मला पण पटलंय त्याचं म्हणणं.
Good day, Barnes.
Hello, Dr. Watson. How are you? I didn't hear you enter.
Are you busy? Am I disturbing you?
Not at all. I was researching, but if you came to see me, it must be that you're looking for something specific. Perhaps I can help you?
एकच ऑप्शन आहे.
A very strange affair, bewildering even, has brought me to see you. An affair involving a Spanish cape and a one-eyed, one-armed man.
Most certainly. You will find the works dealing with naval history on one of the shelves somewhere.
Thank you. I'll go look.
म्हणजे पायरेट आहे तो माणूस. स्पॅनिश केप. हा असं काय बोलत होता आणि अत्यंत विचित्र प्रकारची व्हॉइस ऍक्टिंग होती. हवारी डॉक्टर वॉटसन. सीडी वगैरे वापरायचं होतं आपल्याला. नाही जे इथेच आहे. Was his last voyage. Upon his return, he astounded many with his taste for raw meat and his sudden onslaught of salivation when, I quote, his housekeeper, local college students, or uniformed conscripts passed in front of the windows of the living room. He died 2 years later due to a fatal fall while attempting to battle. माझं लक्ष इकडे जात होतं की कोट्समध्ये फुलस्टॉप हा कोट्सच्या आत असतो का कोट्सच्या बाहेर असतो? He died 2 years later due to a fatal fall while attempting to battle the weathercock atop Edinburgh's bell tower with a sculpture that he had made out of clay and briar chips representing the supposed offspring of the Duke of Kent and a hedgehog. काही समजलं नाही. Horatio Nelson, first Viscount Nelson, born in Burnham Thorpe, Norfolk, in 1758, we owe to Admiral Nelson some of the most beautiful pages of the Royal Navy's history. Charged with intercepting Bonaparte en route for Egypt. अच्छा, Bonaparte. म्हणजे आता फ्रेंचशी संबंध आला. He conquered the French fleet. Not content to rest on his laurels. In 1799, he captured Naples from the revolutionaries and was made Duke of Brabant in 1800. The death of this honorable seaman, who had already given his body in the service of his country, he had one arm amputated and lost the sight in बनाए इथे अच्छा म्हणजे हात से was his crowning moment. He died triumphing over Admiral Villeneuve during the Battle of Trafalgar, despite being inferior in terms of numbers, but through the grace of courage and audacity without compare. A representative tale of Nelson occurred during a former battle when the flag captain warned him that the commander was signaling retreat. Admiral Nelson, convinced they were to be victorious, held a telescope to his blind eye and said, "I really do not see the signal." Thus he continued to battle, coming out victorious. Luckily for him, his joke something. मग काय माणसाचं नाव? Horatio Nelson.
Here's my book, The Great English Sailors.
फारच कन्व्हिनियंटली ठेवलेलं तिकडे
As
ते.
it happens, I found this book and...
Excuse me, my dear Dr. Watson, but I am in need of tranquility.
Well, farewell, Barnes.
हा काय मानसिक रुग्ण वगैरे असतो का? कारण की तो काहीतरी विचित्र करत होता आणि आता त्याला शांतता हवी कशासाठी तरी. बाय द वे, हा ते कन्व्हिनियंटली ठेवलेलं तिकडे अगदीच ते पुस्तक फारच लगेचच मिळालं. की कितीतरी खरं तर कितीतरी पुस्तकांमधून स्पॅनिश पायरेटला शोधायला वेळ लागला पाहिजे, कारण की मला नाही वाटत एकच फक्त स्पॅनिश पायरेट असेल जगात. बरीच पुस्तकं असतील. कुत्र्यांचा आवाज कुठला घाबरलं मी. पायऱ्या चढताना ग्लाइड होतो आपण पायऱ्यांवर. इथे काय अय्यो, व्हॉट, ओके, एनिवे. ओय, असं का थांबलाय शर्लॉक?
Now tell me, Watson, what progress have you made? Have you found the meaning of the mysterious signature?
आर्सिनो लोटिनो. अच्छा, हे आपलं आर्सिन लुपिन त्याचं ओरिजिनल नाव असतं. आर्सिनो लोटिनो. आपण ते पुस्तक पाहून आलं म्हणजे ऑब्व्हियसली त्याचा काहीतरी संबंध असणार आहे इथे. ॲनाग्राम आहे हा वाटतं. त्याच्या या स्पॅनिशवाल्या सेलरचा. हे इथे HORATIONELSON. Yes.
It's an anagram, Holmes. The letters in Arsino Lotino can be used to spell out Horatio Nelson.
हे म्हणजे
Confirmation. No doubt the target for the theft is somehow connected with the Battle of Trafalgar, won by Admiral Lord Nelson at the expense of the French. Nelson, who lost an eye and an arm in battle, has a statue high atop a column in Trafalgar Square. It says that the object of the theft is sitting at his master's feet. There's nothing to steal on this column. We have a map of London here somewhere. Let's see if we can find a site of interest near Trafalgar Square.
मला ऍक्च्युली परत वाचायला लागेल. मला समजलं नाही काय म्हटलं होतं ते शेवटच्या या दोन गोष्टी. That's a welcome confirmation. No doubt the target of the theft is somehow connected to the Battle of Trafalgar, won by Admiral Lord Nelson at the expense of the French. Has a statue high atop a column in Trafalgar. Okay, समजलं. Okay, what?
My eccentric companion keeps
काय करायचं?
Have you found the map of London, Watson?
अच्छा, मॅप शोधायचं. कुठे ठेवलाय मॅप? मॅप मॅप माझ्याकडे आहे ना मॅप. हाच मॅप ना? नाही, हा मॅप ऑफ बेकर स्ट्रीट आहे. हा मॅप आहे. मॅप सारखं दिसत ते. तू तिकडे नुसतं थांबणार आहे का? स्वतः पण शोध ना. म्हणजे इतका पण आळशी नुसतं शोधला होम्स, मला लक्षात आहे. हा मॅप.
Ha! I found it at last. The map of London.
So, according to you, what is there to steal in Trafalgar Square? Show me on the map, Watson.
Okay. ऑक्सफर्ड सर्कस. अच्छा, इथे आपण आहोत. ईस्ट मध्ये आपण आहोत. पिकाडिली सर्कस.
Your intentions are good, Watson, but you've missed everything of importance.
सेंटर ट्रफाल्गर स्क्वेअर आहे ना? हा इथेच आहे. National Gallery of Painting is located on Trafalgar Square, where the Nelson column is erected.
The only location visible is the National Gallery of Painting, which faces the column.
Why not? Our man wants to steal a painting, but which one? Watson, shall we head out?
Not
Let's take a tour
necessarily.
of the National Gallery. While you find Sir Handsome, I'll send a message to Lestrade to have him join us.
Lestrade. Lestrade नक्की काय आहे? काय सांगितलं या माणसाने आपल्याला आता? अच्छा. टॅक्सी टॅक्सी नाही काय म्हणतात त्याला आपलं हा अगदी येऊनच थांबलाय बरं का इकडे आणि नॉट नेसेसरीली की ट्रफाल्गर स्क्वेअर मध्ये नॅशनल गॅलरी म्हणजे त्याला तिकडूनच काहीतरी चोरायचं असेल तिकडे दुसऱ्या कुठली जागा नसते फेमस नसू शकते म्हणा
Ah, lamb, good timing. Can you give myself and my friend Sherlock a lift?
With pleasure, Dr. Watson. The mistress, Miss Bromsby, gave me the day off. I'll wait for you.
वा नवीन जागेत आपण आपण शर्लॉक होम्स होतो
So, Holmes, what are we doing?
I have no reason to go there.
Fragile. The museum transports china?
It is precious, my dear Watson, but it's true that this crate is a curious size. I'd say 3 feet 3 inches on 2 sides by 6'6".
हा माणूस इंच वगैरे कसं काय सांगू शकतो
Oh, what a
सांगू
mess.
सांगू शकत असतील लोक
Oh, what a mess.
ओके इथे काही आहे का नाही याच्याशी जाऊन बोलायचं असणार आहे काय कसे आहात
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and welcome to the National Gallery of Painting. As it's such a lovely day outside, you're the only visitors at the moment, and likely will be for the whole day, as the minimum number of people for a guided tour is...
We're not here to visit the museum, young man. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective?
Indeed, I have reason to believe that a theft is being planned that will take place here, perhaps as early as today.
A robbery?
I'm not certain, but there is a good reason to believe that is the case. We have contacted Inspector Lestrade at Scotland Yard, and he should be joining us momentarily. Meanwhile, rest assured that we are here in an official capacity. In the meantime, you can certainly help us. One of the paintings will play a part in the matter, but I don't yet know exactly which one. I do, however, have a few clues that should tell us something to a specialist like yourself.
Ah, yes, of course. As it happens, I've only been working here for 3 days. Actually, I'm an apprentice, and my duties here are essentially administrative.
काय उपयोग तुझा
Pray tell, would I be correct in deducing that the elder of the 2 men that we can see up there is the director of the museum?
Yes, that is Sir Pointer. He could certainly assist you better than I, but at the moment he's terribly occupied and will be for some time.
But the location that you are proposing is unworthy of my work. All of my pieces are hymns to color and light. It's the very stars, the sun that you want to extinguish.
Please understand, dear sir, the entrance hall is reserved for temporary exhibitions. We are able to add more lighting.
In that case, you would have to provide lanterns across the whole length of the ceiling and to use the most refined oil possible. Definitely not gas. And mirrors to reflect the light, along with some canvases in basic colors to bring out the contrasts.
We will do all that we possibly can.
Nevertheless, I insist that a number of my works must be on the main floor next to the large pieces.
But our rooms are already full, and, as you know, each has its specific subject. Too much modernism?
How can there be too much modernism? Modernism doesn't exist. Only art exists. Art is timeless. Art is cosmic.
Well, sir, perhaps we should continue this conversation in my office.
then you must certainly have a ledger of the works that are shown in the museum, with a description of each painting.
Yes, Sir Pointer entrusted it to my care this morning so I could familiarize myself with the collection, but I lost it. I know I make a rather feeble archivist, but while I was doing a tour of the museum, the painting that Mr. Pointer is now dealing with arrived, along with cases full of canvases that he had to quickly inventory.
The case of the missing ledger. What do you make of it, Watson? Listen, Mr.
Palinur, sir.
Palinor, my friend and I will make our way through the museum in order to find the ledger. If you lost it while touring the museum and it wasn't back on the desk, then it must be in one of the galleries. Stay here and we will return to see you when we have found it, and not a word of it to the director.
Certainly, sir. With many thanks. I will continue to do my inventory and await you.
Tell me, young man, would you happen to have a blueprint of the building in order to facilitate the task at hand?
Ah, yes. Where did I put it? Oh, yes, here it is.
कमीत कमी ते तरी आहे याच्याकडे.
Palinor,
ते नाही हरवले याने. हे फारच शंका घेण्यासारखं नाही वाटत का की ज्या दिवशी त्याने चोरी करायचं म्हटलं त्याच दिवशी त्याचा तो लेजर हरवतो आणि त्या डायरेक्टरला माहिती असलं पाहिजे ना की त्या स्पॅनिश होरेशियो नेल्सनची कुठलं रिलेटेड पेंटिंग आहे का किंवा काय. पळत आला वॉटसन. इकडे काय आहे?
Closed.
अच्छा, पळत जा भाई.
I said I didn't want to be disturbed.
कधी म्हटलास तू? वाह, स्पॅनिश पेंटिंग
Spanish Painters Gallery.
इथेच असणार ना, म्हणजे पहिलेच त्यांनी टाकलंय स्पॅनिश पेंटर्स गॅलरी. काय मस्त
La
पेंटिंग.
Tela Real by the great Spanish master
Diego Velázquez.
1599 to 1660, painted from the golden century of Spain. It depicts a royal boar hunt.
वाह, हे काय आहे?
The Vendramin family, venerating a relic of the True Cross by Titian, a Venetian paper, died in 1576, leader of the 16th century Venetian school of the Cinquecento.
Cinquecento. Lamb, someone with
With a flock of Laban by Giuseppe de Ribera, also called Lo Spagnoletto, or the Little Spaniard because of his height.
पेंटिंग मध्ये सुद्धा हटाई गेली.
Christ
उंचीवरून.
at the Pool of Bethesda by Murillo, one of the most important figures in Baroque painting in Spain during the 18th century.
नाईस.
Christ driving the traders from the temple, canvassed by the Spanish master El Greco.
एवढं लो रेझोल्युशन काय? बाकीचं सगळं एवढं हाय रेझोल्युशन.
A peasant boy leaning on a sill by Bartolome Esteban Murillo, 1617 to 1682.
अय्यो. ही आय गेस व्हीनस आहे प्रॉब्ली.
The Toilet of Venus by
Oh.
Diego Velázquez, who was considered, along with Francisco Goya and El Greco, as one of the greatest artists in all of Spanish history.
द टॉयलेट ऑफ व्हीनस. आय थिंक आणि टॉयलेट ह्या शब्दाचा अर्थ आधी तो नव्हता जो आत्ता झालाय. टॉयलेट यूज टू मीन टेबल क्लॉथ और समथिंग असं काहीतरी, आणि मग त्याचं टेबल क्लॉथ कडून होता ड्रेसिंग टेबल त्याचा अर्थ झाला. आणि ड्रेसिंग टेबल हे युजली बाथरूमच्या जवळ असायचं आणि त्याच्यामुळे लोक ते ॲज अ युफोमिझम यूज करायचे. युफोमिझम म्हणजे की या प्रकारे की जर का बाथरूमला जायचं असेल तर कोणी डायरेक्ट हे नाही म्हणायचं की मी बाथरूमला चाललोय. ते ड्रेसिंग टेबलचं नाव घ्यायचे, कारण की म्हणजे की आपण म्हणतो ना असं की युफोमिझम म्हणजे या प्रकारे की म्हणजे की मी जरा फ्रेश होऊन येतो वगैरे त्या प्रकारे जरा ते होतं. तर ते त्यावेळेला ते टॉयलेट म्हणजे इट यूज टू रेफर टू द ड्रेसिंग टेबल, नॉट द ॲक्च्युअल टॉयलेट. पण स्लोली त्याचा अर्थ तोच व्हायला, म्हणजे की त्या दोन्ही गोष्टी एक झाल्या, टॉयलेट आणि हे. त्याच्यामुळे ते जे टॉयलेट ऑफ व्हीनस आहे आय थिंक त्याचा काहीतरी संबंध त्यावाल्या टॉयलेटशी आहे, मे बी जुन्यावाल्या, ना की नवीन.
Giuseppe de Ribera, 1591 to 1652.
Giuseppe.
This canvas by Tiziano Vecellio, better known as Titian, is an allegory of prudence. It reads, "From the past, the man of the present acts prudently so as not to imperil the future." Wise advice.
एक सेकंड मला परत.
This canvas by Tiziano Vecellio, better known as Titian, is an allegory of prudence. It reads, "From the past, the man of the present acts prudently so as not to imperil the future." Wise advice. The Lamentation of the Dead Christ by Giuseppe de Ribera, a
Tenebrist.
painter.
Tenebrist काय असतात?
A lovely painting by Murillo. Impressive.
बरेच सारे मुरिलोचे पेंटिंग्स आहेत. ह्याचं नाव नाही सांगितलं. हे मला पेंटिंग वाटत आहे, नाही माहिती कसलं आहे.
The Adoration of the Name of Jesus, El Greco, 1541 to
अगदीच लो रेझोल्युशन.
Spanish painter from Crete, belonging to the Mannerist school.
इथे कुठेच नव्हतं हे आपलं होरेशियो नेल्सन वाला. आता इथे फ्रेंच
French
आहेत,
Painters Gallery.
कदाचित फ्रेंच.
A portrait, Madame Moitessier, by Ingres, who was also a violinist on the side, like myself.
लाईक मायसेल्फ स्वतःचा कौतुक.
Monsieur de Norvin's portrait by Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, 1780 to 1876. The Billet Doux by Françoise Boucher. A beautiful landscape by Boucher, Françoise, a master of color in the age of
Françoise. Françoise. वाह.
The Battle of Genappe by Horace Vernet, one of the victories of the French Revolution.
आकाशामध्ये थांबलाय. मागने एक चपाट मार.
Horace Vernet, the Battle of the Hanau, which took place in 1813, the beginning
Vernet.
of the for Napoleon despite this victory.
आय थिंक वर्नेच रिलेटेड असते शर्लॉक होम्सशी. हो.
Watson, come quickly.
What is it, Holmes? What have you found?
A painting by my great uncle Horace
Ah,
Vernet.
म्हटलं ना
I've
मी.
forgotten that his work could be found here. It is certainly this
Great
ancestor to
uncle.
whom Lupin made reference in his letter. Such talent, don't you think?
Who? Lupin?
No, Vernet. Albeit Lupin also, but in a different field. The Emperor Napoleon I, or Bonaparte as the English prefer, painted by Horace Vernet. Perfect Harmony by Jean-Antoine Watteau. The Scale of Love by Jean-Antoine Watteau. Born in 1684, died in 1721. French painter, one of the first in the Rococo style.
Rococo.
Inspired by the Commedia dell'arte, who loved to depict theatre and festivities in his paintings.
ते इथे मजेदार आहे.
A canvas by Nicolas Poussin that tells of the discovery of Moses.
डिस्कवरी ऑफ मोजेस डिस्कवर झाले, मला माहित नव्हतं.
The Adoration of the Golden Calf by Nicolas Poussin, a classical French painter from the 17th century who spent most of his productive career not in Paris, but in Rome, on the fringes of the prominent schools of the era.
Adoration of the Golden Calf. का करत आहेत ते?
Portrait by Jean-Baptiste Perronneau, born around 1715, died 1783.
वा.
Portrait of a Woman by Perronneau, French school, pastel on paper. Horace Vernet, my ancestor. Magnificent, this landscape at sunset. A canvas by Joseph Vernet, my great uncle.
जोसेफ वर्ने, ग्रेट अंकल.
Triumph of
Great
Paris by
uncle.
Nicolas Poussin.
अंकल आहे, मला आंट वाटलेलं. म्हणा आंट बिंट. अरे पुस्तक हे लेजरच आहे का?
There, it seems that we've found the famous ledger. It's written in shorthand and there are hundreds of entries. Let's bring it to the archivist.
ओके. आर्काइविस्ट. तात्या, तुमचं पुस्तक सापडलं.
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
इथे गुडवा येते
Paranor.
थेट. हे देता येतं का त्याला?
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
लेजर.
Here is your ledger, my friend.
You found it. Many thanks.
त्याच्या हातात काहीच
I
नव्हतं.
won't say anything to disappoint her.
Rest assured, are you familiar with how the entries are written? Everything seems to be abbreviated.
I understand how to locate a thematic group and how to read a description, but I am struggling with the location codes.
It's better than nothing at the moment. We're searching for a painting that has a connection to the Battle of Trafalgar.
Depicting what exactly?
According to this poem, it could be...
battle battle obviously battle है. अह, काय डिपिक्ट करतं माहिती मला. According to letter, according to the poem मतलब. C असेल.
Are you sure? It means nothing to me, Mr. Holmes.
Water. काय useless माणूस. Ships.
Are you sure? It means nothing to me, Mr. Holmes.
युद्धातल्या जहाजाला काय म्हणतात? बॅटलशिप. नेव्ही. नेव्हल बॅटल. नेव्हल ते हारले ना. डिफीट नॉट रिट्रीट. नेव्हल रिट्रीट. Retreat.
Are you sure? It means...
Pirate.
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
It might refer to a boat. Its master was Admiral Nelson, and the thief wanted to run it aground. Moreover, the boat would have a French name.
Wait, I have a suggestion. A very popular painting, symbolic even, the Fighting Temeraire, a Turner. In this painting, Turner
Turner
is
is covered.
described as having mastered painting techniques, and it is one of the most beautiful English paintings of all time. The subject, a boat by the French name of Temeraire, was involved in the Battle of Trafalgar and distinguished itself by protecting Victory, the flagship on board which was...
Victory, did you say?
Yes, Admiral Nelson was on board. Temeraire received a special distinction, but I am not certain of which. The painting shows it being towed to the breaker's yard, I believe.
Where would I find it?
I don't know. You would have to search through the English works of this century near the west section of the gallery.
West section.
My thanks, Palinor. Come, Watson, let's take a look at the painting.
जी BBC वाली शर्लॉकची सिरीज आहे त्याच्यामध्ये सुद्धा टर्नरचं पेंटिंग असतं. ग्रेट गेम वाल्या एपिसोड मध्ये सुपरनोवा वाला पेंटिंग. ईस्ट म्हणजे इकडे आहे ना. ईस्ट इंग्लिश गॅलरी म्हटला तो. ईस्ट यस. अच्छा इथेच.
Here's what I've been looking for.
काय आहे याच्यात? अच्छा.
The Fighting Temeraire. Splendid. What do you think?
I agree, it's splendid. The existence of this painting would seem to give credit to this whole affair.
As long as this painting remains on this wall, this letter, even if it is eloquent and provocative, is nothing more than a letter. It is possible that all of this could be a hoax with no substance whatsoever. We will know soon enough, as the theft will have to take place tonight.
We must warn the museum's director, Holmes.
You are correct, Watson. Shall we?
अगदीच त्याच दिवशी त्याने सांगितलं ज्या दिवशी की तो चोरणार आहे त्याच दिवशी त्याने म्हणजे बरोबर वेळेत आले एकदम. त्यांनी बघितलंच नसतं तर तो बिझी असतो तर शर्लॉक होम्स तर काय झालं असतं.
Fantastic, superb.
There, maestro.
आपण गेलो ना तिकडे.
Everything is settled.
This collaboration will be my crowning glory, my masterpiece. Merci.
I have
Yes.
finished the inventory of the works of art, Director. Oh, and I have the pleasure of introducing the great detective Sherlock Holmes and his companion, Dr. Watson.
Good day, gentlemen. It's with pleasure that I welcome you to our gallery. I trust that you are here for pleasure and not business.
I'm afraid that is not the case.
Oh,
When it is no longer a matter of art, the artist must make his excuses. Messieurs, until we meet again, no need to accompany me. I know the way.
असे काय काय डोळे केले तुम्ही विचित्र.
my
Do you know
apologies,
the way?
gentlemen. Have you been waiting long?
Mr. Palinor was able to answer all of our most urgent questions. Tell me, who was that man who just left?
That was Horace Valmont, a French painter. One of the best, seemingly. His letters of recommendation come from some of the grandest salons in Paris.
A Frenchman? Let's take a look, Watson.
Yes, he's very avant-garde. He heard that we were showing the works of modern painters during our temporary exhibitions. He has loaned us a number of paintings and has promised to donate those that have the greatest success to the museum.
Lestrade, just in time. And the Frenchman, Watson?
Gone?
Director, this is Inspector Lestrade from Scotland Yard. Lestrade, this is the Director of the National Gallery, Sir Pointer, and his assistant, Mr. Palinor. Lestrade, would you have your constable on duty guard the entrance and make sure that nobody comes into the museum? Director, is there anything else?
No, but
If you would care to follow me, I'll show you what the motivation behind all of this is. The reason for this little gathering is this letter that I received at my lodgings this morning. Without getting into too much detail, it claims that this painting, The Fighting Temeraire, will be stolen tonight.
pardon?
There now. It's because of a letter that you've disturbed me. You believe that?
I would never have taken the liberty to disturb you if this letter, the authenticity of which I must admit hasn't been completely confirmed, was not written by the one and only Arsène Lupin.
Arsène Lupin?
Arsène Lupin?
Us? Arsenal? Who?
Us.
Lou? What?
Arsène Lupin, the
एवढं काय अवघड आहे
most
समजायला?
in the world. We will know soon enough whether or not this letter is a fake, or if I had reason to disturb you, Lestrade. But you must understand that we couldn't take even the slightest chance.
Perhaps. Why not simply put this thing under lock and key in the bank or at Scotland Yard?
We cannot risk storing the painting in an improper environment or to entrust it to anyone who calls it a thing.
All that would achieve would be to shift the problem. This painting is priceless. Beware he who would harm it. What I propose, Lestrade, is to do a tour of the museum with Sir Pointer in order to check any possible points of break and entry, and leave 2 men on duty here tonight. In addition, Director, you must close the museum to the public and not let anyone else in.
If you feel it's necessary.
And you, Holmes?
I'll pass by tomorrow at dawn. We'll know then what we're up against. Should the unthinkable have occurred, I insist that nothing is touched until I arrive. Is that clear? Let's be off, Watson.
Listen, Inspector, I have a lot of work to take care of. It would be better if I leave you to do a tour by yourself. You are, after all, a professional. Here are the keys to all of the locked doors. If you need me, I'll be in my office.
Well, I best inspect the museum to find any of Lupin's possible exits, including mice holes.
Wow. Okay.